G'day folks, thanks for joining me. I'm Stuart Dunn from Universal Rocks, and I'm standing in front of a couple of different manufacturers' tanks. I've got 3 of ZooMed's tanks over to the side here, the little reptile terrariums that are out on the market, and I've also got the 2 of the larger Exo Terra tanks. And what I think is just fantastic, you know, I'm giving the thumbs up to these enclosures, the fact that you can get into the front of them, you can lock them, they open right up wide so you can get to your animal and maintain your tank from the front, or you can come in from the top as well. There's a wire top on there that you can put your lights on and then take that out if you need to get to. So I just think they're fantastic. What you can also do is, because the bottom of them is sealed, you can have the bottom with water in it, and therefore you can have waterfalls, and that's one of the things that I'm going to set up here today, so you can see what it'll look like with running water, as well as like I've just done to the side here as a dry tank. Well, these Exo Terra tanks, they come with a foam background, and it's a polystyrene background. It's very flimsy, and it can be that soft that the crickets and the animals can claw it and damage it, and the fact is it really doesn't come with any ledges, and I think animals like to climb and rest on ledges, so that's one of the reasons that I got into getting these tanks, so I can give the animals a go and also obviously sell some product, but at the same time make these tanks look as good as what they should do, which is, if you went to a zoo, that's exactly how they'd look. And you can do this at home yourself. So this is one of the newer backgrounds that I've done for the 36 by 24 here, and we're going to put a little waterfall here in a minute. But I just got to say, about 4 or 5 months ago I went out to West Texas and I took some molds of some rock out there, and I'll show you some little close-up photos of those as the video goes on. But those rock formations that we got at West Texas, that's exactly what these are the replications of those, and we've just cut them to different size tanks. So I think you'll appreciate that, how real it looks, exactly like the mold. So we'll just show you some before and afters as we go on. What you've got to do to put these in place is you just got to peel off the Velcro in a minute, and you'll just squash that to the back of the tank. Secondly, if you're going to run water, you need to drill a hole. Each of these are made to have a waterfall in 1 or 2 places, but really you can play with that yourself, and you can have 2 or 3 places if you want with water running down. In this case, I've got the ledge, a little indentation in the middle here. I've already drilled that with a half inch drill, and now it's ready for the fitting. So I just grab my little pump and tubing and the fitting on the end there. This is a little 30-gallon-hour pump, plenty of water for what we're doing, and we just simply squash that in there. You can get some silicone and silicone around that, but if it's a tight fit, which this is, it doesn't really matter. If the water drips through, it's only going to drip into the catchment of water below anyway, where your pump's sitting. So the other thing that I've actually done here also is I've cut out with a knife, and that's the great thing with this, you can actually cut and break little bits away to allow for your tubing from your pump, the pump wire. Let me just grab the bottom of that. It's going to simply come out and rest in that little spot there, and the lid with these tanks is made so the tubing can run out the back and your animals can't get out. So there's been a lot of thought going to these enclosures, and they look terrific. So let's have some fun and put this in place, and then we'll start to decorate. We'll fill it up and we'll decorate it. So we'll open these doors. Actually, I say that, I'm probably going to come in from the top with this. Okay. So we just feed this over the top. The backgrounds are being cut in particular for these tanks exactly to size, so really there's nothing you need to do other than take the Velcro off at the back there and squash it in place. So I'll do that. So once we've got that off, we can come back around the front, push this all the way to the back, fix your lead up into the little spot in the tank and the little spot that I've cut out. Once I've got that in the right place, push this back again. Okay, push up against so your Velcro holds it in, and that's about it. So now we're really ready to place some rocks. Be a little bit careful doing this. using some artificial plants here, so I'm actually not going to have some soil in here. If you're going to do it with soil, then you really have got to do some gravel and some other preparation so that you can have your plants growing in the soil, but also not just waterlogged. Okay, but in my case, it's just going to be artificial plants, so I'll get away with that. So, okay, definitely want the larger gravel on the bottom, and that way the water's all in amongst the larger gravel, and you've got more water in there. At the back of the tank is at the back of the background. There's a big hollow section anyway. So I'm just going to grab another bucket of gravel. What I've got beside me here is I've got some decoration rocks which are fantastic. You can just put them in the bottom of the tank, just like I'm going to do here. Okay, but if you've got some snakes or lizards that you don't think there's enough ledges on this and you'd like some more, you can come along, put some blobs of silicon on this, and then squash this onto the side of your tank and create a really interesting look. Obviously it's not going to look so nice on the side, so depending on whether you're going to view it from the side will help you decide whether you want to actually do that. But they do silicon because they're perfectly cut through a saw. They do silicon really easy onto the side of the tank, and when that's done properly, that'll hold your weight of your snake. So there's a whole range of different ones to do that with, and you could come along with one on one side, one on the other, or two on one side and one on the other. Okay. Also, depending on what animal you've got, we've got little water bowls. We've got a range of those. There's about 7 different ones for that. Some of these rocks here, you can come along and just notch out. Let's do it with this one, for example, here. We want to make that into a little hide rock at the same time for whatever animal you've got in there. So you just come through with your knife, just break it. You cut in, twist, break, cut in, twist, break. And if you do that in an irregular fashion, then it looks a lot more natural as a crack in the rock. So depending on how big your animal is depending on how much you're going to do that. So once you've got that there, nestle it in a little bit, bring your gravel around. Okay, choose some plants. Okay, in this case, if you want to also have some plants that are in your background and held up on different areas here, then it's just a matter of drilling some holes and squashing those in. So that's once again really easy to do. I love using some vines as well, so I come through and sort of just hang some of these vines and then use some more plants. Okay, I'm actually going to fill this up, so we'll just stop in a second and just get it full, and then I'll come back and show you what the finished product looks like. So while I'm gone, just enjoy some of those pictures that, like I said, from West Texas of where we got these molds from. Okay, so I've just finished filling it up. I did wash the gravel way before I started all this, and I suggest you always do that. So we've washed the gravel, we've filled it up. I did drill a little 1/2-inch hole in the background over to the side here and squash the butt of this plant into that. This is a little artificial cycad. And now really we're ready to turn it on, so let's just pull it around the side here. Okay, this is a little 30-gallon-per-hour pump. There is a little control valve typically on the smaller pumps, and depending on whether you're setting up one of the smaller tanks over the side here, you might want to adjust that to suit your size tank. Okay, all this is we've got right down from the small tanks up to quite large tanks here, and you need to have tanks like that because your animal's going to grow. So if you get a little animal and as he grows you need to move up, this is how easy and fun it is. You can decorate any of those tanks in just, you know, half an hour if that. So we've got 1, 2, 3 with water and then the other 2 without, but you can change that to have water at any time just with a matter of drilling a little hole and squashing a pump behind the back of the background. So I hope you had fun watching this, and I hope you'll have fun doing it at home yourself.